All right, we are on.
Yay!
Well, welcome everyone. We appreciate you joining us for our lunchtime hangout with Kathleen and Emily on Mindset Matters, hoping to shed some light, which mine seems to be fluctuating today with this overhead light that I have. I'm up in this beautiful office area with some natural light and a skylight, but depending on the clouds, I come and go. So, yeah, I was hoping that we could read a tiny bit out of the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. What do you think, Kathleen? Would that be
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, great. It was just something that caught my mind, my eye and my ear when I was on a call this morning. So I just thought it might be a great way to launch into a half hour here. Here we go. There is a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, no mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed minds do not inspire faith, courage, or belief. I really like that, and that really, really struck me, and I thought that that would be a great place to go from. I had an experience very recently myself because I have been practicing this mindset material and the definitive purpose and also the confidence statements that we are making here. And I realized when I was going through this, I caught an awareness of some tension in my body and some resistance, if you will, and I thought, now what is that? Because I'm reading the definitive purpose that I will earn a certain amount of income by a certain date, and I believe it. And I do, but then I realized, well, what is that nagging thing going on? What is that tension? And when I looked into it, I realized that it really was doubt or disbelief or resistance to it as being true. And so when we were reading this passage in today's call, I'm like, oh my goodness, because I wasn't really ready to receive. It might have been more of a wishing thing that I've been doing so far, and that maybe I wasn't ready to receive it because I had some resistance to this possibly being true. I mean, this is a major confession, I'm telling you here. But no one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. And so sort of with that nagging disbelief or doubt, I realized there was real tension there, and so I went through a little bit of a relief, just to release it, be relieved of it, just to get into the flow and just relax and let it go. Give it over to the Holy Spirit, give it over to the Christ in me, and let God handle it. Cast it over to God. This is what I desire. This is what I hope. This is what you put on my heart, and I'm going to leave it in your hands. And that really seemed to. It was amazing. It was just an amazing experience after that. Have you ever experienced anything like that, Kathleen?
Absolutely. And we think, oh, we can go do this. And, but if you can't really see the end result in your mind, I mean, there's several steps to this leading up to it. Yes, somebody can cast out that idea, or you might see something and you think, oh, I can do that. But then when it comes right down to it, there are some basic steps that your mind has to go through, so to speak, before you can get there. It's like an architect. he has to see that completed building. He has to draw that building out and see it completed before they ever break ground. And the same thing with us, if we're venturing off into something that we haven't done before, I think there are certain steps, certain process that we have to go through to bring that into reality, to solidify that in our minds that yes, this is what we can do. It may start off with that thought, and then maybe writing it down, and but then you've got to take it a step further than just writing it down. You've got to internalize that somehow. Um, Also, you know, maybe pictures. Something that brings that into more reality for you. Because if you're not a good visualizer, my husband is a great example. When we were redoing homes, um, he always marveled. He said, "You can see that." He said, "I can't see it until it's done." So, I would have to get a picture or something that physically he could see to help show him what was coming, or what was going to, what my idea was. And then he could take it from there. But somehow you've got to really get that picture planted in your mind as to what the end result is.
Yes, that is very true. And limiting beliefs, those are pictures in our minds that many of us hold. And I think what my experience was a manifestation, a systemic manifestation of a limiting belief. It had a sense of tension. So there was definitely something there. And many of us struggle with like shoulder and neck pains from tension. So it's almost like this clamping down thing. And that's what I experienced. And I give thanks to God, because I don't think that I had noticed that it was there when I was reading the definitive purpose. And the whole thing with the definitive purpose is, from my take, is to keep that vision in the front of our minds, in front of our eyes, each and every day. Read it once in the morning and when you're out of bed, and once in the evening before you go to bed. At least they say that that's a really good process. And I don't think that I was aware that, even though I was reading it, part of the vision was this tension that was rising up, that this was almost wishful thinking. Like,
Can this really happen?
Yeah, 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 and there was doubt.
Yeah. And I marvel. I wish I was more open, in that I know a very successful uh, man that he just took and plastered it. When he woke it up, he had it plastered all over his ceiling. He'd written it out on cards and put them all over his ceiling, what it was that he wanted to have come to fruition. And so, everywhere he looked, where he lived, was one of these cards just reminding him of what he was going to bring about. And sometimes when we've got a real blockage, it is helpful to have that constant reminder there, to help us break through that disbelief that we have that power within us to bring that about and achieve those things that we want. But sometimes, just based on maybe where we've come from or what we've done in the past as a career, we see ourselves as that person that we've always been. And now we've got to create this whole new image of who we want to become. And sometimes, if you, especially in my case, I've been a hairdresser for 30 years. So moving from a hairdresser to a marketer, or just adding on to that career, is a step. That's, like a giant step. to get your belief changed, you know, that this is another thing that you can take on and that you can do.
Yes, it is a mindset change, a reconstruction, a becoming of the new self. And I think that that's where um, individuals utilize what they call dream boards or dreamscaping techniques, not unlike what you're saying. So get those pictures and have those pictures, like say on a dream board or a vision board, some might refer to it as, and have that somewhere where you can see it all the time. And I have seen recommendations that you take a snapshot of it and you use it as a screensaver, you put it on your cell phone, and everywhere, you know, like frame it so you can see it when you get out of bed in the morning, and just be able to constantly see the images of what it is you desire to come true in your life, whatever that looks like. And I suppose as regards to making the shift, you from a cosmetologist to a marketer, and myself, you know, I'm a CPA and certified tax coach, and so I'm making a leap to doing the marketing as well. To like, what does a marketer look like? What does that lifestyle look like? And you know, what do I look like in that lifestyle?
Exactly, and the fact that, you know, it's a different mindset. You're creating a residual income, you know, and that's, you know, moving from that fact of we've always, or many of us have been taught that you work hard for your money, and you just put in all these hours and you give 110%. Well, yes, you do. You do the same thing with marketing. It isn't that you don't have to work. It's that when you have done the work, you get rewarded over and over for that work that you did. And so it's that leap of changing the fact that, well, for me, it would be like, okay, you've done a haircut, you got paid. Well, 4 6 weeks from now, you can do the haircut again and you get paid. But if you don't do it, you don't get paid. But now you've shared with somebody in your business, and they've joined you in a partnership or as a teammate, and you have doubled your efforts. You're what's the word I'm looking for with um,
It's residual income, I think.
yeah, yeah, and you know, the fact that you're getting so much more out of your efforts with more people, and you just expanded yourself, multiplied it, and it's just, and you just keep seeing the results of that over and over again. And so it is a different mindset. It comes from a different place, and I think it's something that I'll bet 10 years from now, our kids, it will be just natural. That will be something that is the norm and not unlike now, because I think this profession is really growing and getting credibility now.
Yes, I think so. And I love the concept of residual income. Of course I do. You know, I'm a CPA, certified tax coach. We love residual income. It really is from a financial standpoint, it's an investment of an ongoing income stream that really just continues to reap dividends or benefits from prior work efforts. And that is one of the beautiful things in the marketing realm that we're currently in, is finding those teammates, finding those individuals who also want this kind of a business model, if you will. It's very intelligent because you make the investment, you do the work. It's like writing a book. And you know, all that effort goes into writing the book. You write the book, and then it's there to be sold over time, and it makes you money over time. The same thing with investing in income producing property, which we love those kinds of investments. You might buy into a business building or a rental property, and so your initial input, your investment, can then make money. And so it's smart use of money. It's money that's invested that makes you money. And so in the marketing realm, we're really, it is a beautiful model, because that investment, that work effort, setting up the sales funnel, getting that all situated, that's work that you've done in a period of time that can reap benefits over future periods and afford you the luxury of going on to producing other kinds of work effort and earning other incomes. But just having that residual income stream into the future is quite wise. So yeah, absolutely. And it does take a shift in mindset, because we are, for the most part, W-2 type people. We are used to having a job, going to work 9 to 5, thinking that, you know, as soon as we can come of age, what, 16, 17-year-old, let's get out there, get jobs, and we think we're going to do this until we retire. And we have that mindset. This is a different mindset. This is truly a different mindset, and it takes some getting used to, but it also takes some awareness.
It does take awareness, and you think about schools don't teach. They don't teach the really foundation of making money. They just it's that education is not there for them as to how to go out and produce. They're taught to be laborers, and that they're going to make a certain amount of money, and they're shared. Children are shared that they're going to be worth X amount of dollars if they're in this profession. If they do this profession, they'll be worth this amount of dollars. Well, we begin to see ourselves as I'm a $40,000 a year earner, or I'm a $75,000 a year earner. And if you get up into some of the doctors, lawyers, you know, you're going to get a higher earning, but somebody is telling you what you're worth. The wonderful thing about this profession is you get to determine what you're worth. And that's a real mind shift to go from being told you're worth this much to the sky is the limit. There is no ceiling. It all depends on how you see yourself, how much effort you put in, and you get to give yourself a raise. You know, you get to educate yourself a little bit more. You step out, you go to events, you connect with people. You never know who's going to be that gatekeeper for you. Who's going to open that door? Who knows who that can introduce you to somebody that can make your life so much easier. So, you know, and that brings up another point with this, is because it is open to everybody. There is no limit. There isn't, you know, it could be the high school dropout that school just wasn't for them, but they found this profession. And it has no race. It has no limitations of whatsoever, age, gender, anything. So whoever you come in contact with, you need to be nice to people, because yeah,
Yes, we do need to be nice to people.
You do need to be nice to people, and not judge people and say, well, they wouldn't be interested in my business, because you don't know. You don't know. Maybe they might not be interested in your business, but they very well might be able to introduce you to somebody. You don't know at what point, because whoever comes into your life, whoever you're in contact with, has been put there for a reason. And yes, they could be your next gatekeeper to opening another door for you. So yes, my point is, don't judge, you know, because that can happen here. you know, you could say, well, they're not interested in, and especially when you're first starting out, because you might be a little bit shy about approaching somebody, or sharing what it is that you're doing, but you just don't know. You
No,
don't know.
absolutely, you do not know, and that is the one of the beauties, how I view this industry. And thinking of what you were saying is really that it is a freedom-oriented industry, and people have a variety of interests and backgrounds and needs and desires, and know a whole host of folks. And I like to think of this that I know, for instance, where I'm involved, it has to do with financial wellness. That dovetails beautifully with me. That resonates with me. So in that sense of freedom, of opportunities, and there are a multitude, and many of them are awesome. So depending on what your likes or dislikes, what resonates with you or doesn't, you can move and kind of find your way to something that just fits beautifully like a glove. That's, this is perfect. And people have different needs. So for me, with the financial wellness, it dovetails very well with my CPA tax practice. It dovetails very well with what I see my clients need, what I know that people need. So I'm a finance gal. So I can see that there's that, and people are seeking freedom in finance. So for me, I know it's what they refer to as that attraction marketing. And I can rest and I can have peace that I know that what I have is something very, very valuable, something that many, many people need. In fact, about 90% of the population is in debt and need of financial wellness assistance or help. And so it's perfect because it's my forte, it's my thing, and that's my heart for people, is to help them get out of debt and get solid on their feet. I've raised and homeschooled my children along this. I've lived this model, and so in that spirit of freedom, we just never know. But what I know for me and what makes me comfortable and the mission that I feel that I'm on is that I can help people that way. And there are many, many, many people out there sitting in their homes doing whatever they're doing that may catch us or whatever, and they may, through some of the guests that we bring on, really resonate with what that guest might be saying or might be involved in. And that will give them that spark, that attraction that pulls them in the direction that they're meant to go in. And so it is truly a beautiful, wide open industry. I love to think that I am sending the Holy Spirit out before me and letting God draw who He knows needs to find me, who may need to find you, who may need to find one of the guests that we bring on this show, on this hangout. And I love that sense of freedom. I love that the industry considers itself an industry of freedom. I love the whole concept there.
I'm with you, because there's so many wonderful things out there. And it, you know, for anybody to choose from, whatever their background is or their passion is, there is something there for everyone. And it's just a matter of finding what is going to resonate with you. And that's our hope here, is to expose you to a lot of different up and coming people that are in this profession, from all varieties of businesses, that will give you that insight as to, uh, you know, and personalities, because you want to know who you're working with. It's kind of nice to get hooked up with a team that are like-minded, that you know, have the same values, because your teammates can help you in a lot of these things. Some
Yes.
companies, they leave you alone. Some are very supportive, and those are the things you want to find out about different companies that you want to work with.
Yes.
So we hope to be able to share some of those different values of things, kind of like your due diligence list. You know, things that you want to be looking for when you do get involved with a company. You know, it's easy to with this because it's a low entry um, fee for most companies out there to get involved. But we hope to be able to share by um, sharing these different things to save you from making a lot of mistakes and going someplace that maybe isn't conducive to your values, but maybe hoping that you will find exactly what's right for you. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely, Kathleen, because there are a whole host of opportunities out there, and if we can help even one person um, get in touch with their intuition, with their gut feelings, with their hunches, as regards to what fits for them, to begin to pre-consider where where their interests are, where their heart lies, what their mission might be, how can they make a difference, what do they want their lives to look like, what it is that they're after in their future. If we can help anyone begin to do some soul searching first, I truly believe that we would be able to help and assist them in perhaps making some wrong decisions. And I think most of us have. If you really look and ask people, they'll tell you, they got involved in maybe what was the first thing. Now some of their first things are their last things, and it's actually worked out. But for many people, their first search resulted in something that they jumped at because it sounded good, but it wasn't until after they spent the money that they came to realize that it didn't fit. It didn't fit. It wasn't going anywhere. It You can't sell something that you don't love. It's going to come through, and people discover that. But unfortunately, after they've spent the money, so our hope, and I know we've talked about this, so we share this together, our hope is that we can engage individuals in the conversation and get their thoughts, um, on this, and considering, hopefully then they'll make informed decisions where they want to go. And there's our little hint that we're shortly needing to wrap up. And what I'd like to just say in conclusion, I'll pass this over to you, is that mindset really matters. And when somebody comes into this space, as we found out, if I'll read this. This is a quote from Henry Ford, and I love it. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So if people come in with doubts, those doubts are going to rule, and the results will follow that doubt. If people come in with faith, believing they can and seeing it in their being, then they're going to be able to do that. And if we can help people start thinking about that, I think we can shave off a lot of time for them, help move them into success much more quickly than if they weren't considering these factors. So I'm going to pass that off to you and let you wrap up the show.
I totally agree. Is being able to condense time for people, and it's like each generation you are trying to leave your kids better off than where you started and where you're ahead of the game. Well, the same here. We're looking to share, you know, maybe some of the pitfalls that we fell into that we can prevent you from, or at least show you the road that maybe you shouldn't go down, but at least to open the eyes and make you aware of what's out there. But more importantly is to bring you good people bring you good insight, and so that you can make an informed decision, and so that your life can get started so much faster, because there's a lot of shiny objects out there that you can the distraction level is huge, and there are things that you will need going down the road, and there are things that they are just plain a distraction. And so our hope is to bring you some great guests and just keep you informed, and then you can take it from there.
Yes, thank you. I think we should wrap up.
Absolutely. So we wish you all the very best day, and amazing, and we will be back tomorrow.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Bye.